Some beautiful people. Oh. We're gonna take a piece of the pie. Ooh. Hold on, y'all. I need my charger cord. Well, I'll have my stuff together when I come here in the morning. I'm working on my laptop. Darn it. No, wait, I can't. I thought I needed my adapter piece, but I ain't using the mouse. Mom, shalom, global purpose, Grand Rising family, Shayla, Betwabo, Tiffany. So bona ya. Okay, y'all. Happy Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. All right, beautiful people. Happy Friday. It is April 22nd, 2022, day 89 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1107. We're going to pick up where we left off in OAHSPE on page 25, and then we're going to jump right on over to the meditation book on page 58. Yep. No, I'm sorry. 59. We stopped on 58, but we need to start on 59. All right, beautiful people. Okay. I hope everybody had a peaceful sleep last night. I did. One of these mornings where I was wishing it was a Sabbath. Didn't want to turn the bed loose. Just did it. All right, y'all. But I slept good. I'm going to take care of that now. Rita, good morning. Auntie, Grand Rising. Francis, shalom. The struggle is real this morning, Tiffany. Oh, boy, I tell you, it is. I mean, it's a good day. The weather, I hope the weather just stay good. I'm tired of the cold days. Yesterday, it was a little bit warmer than it had been. It was out most of the day yesterday. Okay. All right, y'all, let's get started. Okay. Father, we thank you for another day. Bless us, give us the strength. Continue to lead us and guide us in wisdom as you always do. I won't even really need to ask you that. We just need to stay on the path. But, for the sake of prayers, we do. Just in case. I don't know. Thank you. Okay. Chapter 10 at the bottom of the page, 25, left side. Jehovah spake to God. Remember, Jehovah is the big God, the great spirit, whom we refer to as Yah, and God is the president over the earth, the lords and everybody that's in place, but God being the highest title, lords under God, and then you have the Ashars and Asaphs, kind of like a chain of command in the military. Okay. Jehovah spake to God, saying, steer thy ship to the south land, my son, and visit thy Lord, who is God of Vohu. And God went as commanded to the south, running close to the earth over deserts and mountains. But when they were a short way on the journey, they were met by the Lord who had been apprised of God's coming. And the ship of the Lord came also and made fast to the vessel of God. And all the angels saluted and intermingled, having known one another hundreds of years, and some for more than 1,000 years. The Lord said, on our journey, let us run through the valleys and the banks of the rivers, for it is here that both Asu and men dwell. And so they journeyed, surveying the earth as they sailed above. The country was mostly barren, not supporting man or beast. But by the riversides, man dwelt, burrowing in the ground to avoid the heat by day and the cold by night. And they came to places where the angels of the Lord were dwelling with mortals, having inspired them to make villages and to hide their nakedness. The Lord said, behold, O God, only the unseen is potent over man. Could the beasts or the stones or the forest tell man to hide his nakedness? He would not, neither will he heed his brother's voice. Without experience, man cannot be advised profitably to himself, for such hath Jehovah made him. Because man cannot discern angel presence, the angels alone can teach man and inspire him to new life. For they talk to him in his sleep and show him what is for his own good. I'm sorry, I got some highlights. Okay, let me go back. I'm going to read verse 5 again. The Lord said, behold, O God, only the unseen is potent over man. Could the beast or the stones or the forest tell man to hide his nakedness? He would not, neither will he heed his brother's voice. Without experience, man cannot be advised profitably to himself, for such hath Jehovah made him, because man cannot discern because man cannot discern angel presence. The angels alone can teach man and inspire him to new life. For they talk to him in his sleep and show him what is for his own good. And when he waketh in the morning, he supposeth it was himself talking, and he is ambitious to obey himself. Patient and of long endurance are the angels of the Lord. Trina, hey girl, hey. God said, will man ever know he hath been raised up? Will he be believing? Or will he too need to go to some new world and raise up the first fruits thereof and toil his hundreds of years with naked mortals? O Jehovah, how wisely hast thou shapen the labors of the believing and the unbelieving. Lo, man came forth out of the earth, boasting of his unbelief, saying, except I see with my own eyes and feel with my own hands, I would not believe. Sound a little Thomasy like to me. You know, Thomas, doubting Thomas, when JC had raised up and they were saying, the master's alive. Yeah, I ain't gonna believe it unless I see with my own eyes, with my own hands. Unless I do that, I ain't gonna see it. And JC showed up. Touch, Thomas. Dost thou now believeth? Lo, man cometh forth out of the earth, boasting of his unbelief, saying, except I see with my own eyes and feel with my own hands, I will not believe. But thou, O Jehovah, hast fitted a labor for his eyes and for his hands to his heart's content. And yet another man cometh forth out of the earth believing, and quickly he mounteth to the thrones of thy exalted heavens. Great is the work of thy Lord, O Father. The Lord said, who knoweth thy wisdom, O Jehovah? Who cannot perceive thee in the foundations of thy everlasting worlds? Thou hast provided nurses for the new earth, and out of this, thy footstool, thou wilt bring forth many who will in the far future time be laboring as thy Lord and his angels labor here. Of what expanse is thy wisdom, O Jehovah? Thus they conversed and journeyed forth till they reached the throne and place of the Lord. And here they made fast their ships, and they descended down to the city of Ongu in upper middle of the continent of Vohu. What was Vohu, y'all? I forgot what Vohu was. Y'all remember? Because they labeled the portions. I had a underlined, or highlighted, or something. So below, hold on. The voice of man. I know I underlined it because I was debating on one day using it in the title. I think I did use it in the title. I think. Hold on. Simu. Hold on. Maybe I did. Maybe I thought I did. Vohu is Africa. There we go. Yes. Waga is Pan or Pangea. Jude, I call it Jude. We call it Jud. Jud is Asia. Thouri, Thouri, is America. That would include both the Americas. Vohu is Africa, and this DIS is Europe. Talang, that's Wabu. Okay, that was on page 17. First paragraph, left side. Okay. Oh, at the end. Okay. Thus they conversed and journeyed forth till they reached the throne and place of the Lord. And here they made fast their ships, and they descended down to the city of Ongu in upper middle of the continent of Vohu, or Africa. And the Lord now sent messengers to all the Ashars in his dominions, appointing 10 days of rest and time for feasting and music and dancing and worshiping Jehovah. And so it came to pass that the angels of the Lord and of God held a reunion, being the first one for over 100 years. And then God went around about over all the continent of Vohu, or Africa, inspecting the work the Lord had done, and he pronounced it good before Jehovah. When God had rested the full time, he and his hosts entered the ship of God, taking leave of the Lord and his hosts, departed on the journey, saluting the Lord with 1,000 trumpeters in the name of Jehovah. Next chapter, chapter 11. And now came the long journey across the ocean. God said, "Great is thy wisdom, O Jehovah, in the division of waters. Thy barriers provide nations against nations. A refuge hast thou made beyond the waters, and the evil man cannot pursue. But greater still are thy spirit oceans, O Father. The spirits of darkness cannot cross over, and the spirits of newborn peoples are not contaminated." Oh, that's good. Unless they know how to use a boat, then they bring in their shenanigans. The spirits of darkness cannot cross over, and the spirits of newborn peoples are not contaminated. Thou far seeing, thou bestower of thrift into the hands of thy gods and thy lords. The master of the ship provideth well for the journey, and presently the vessel of fire sped over the water, high above the clouds that covered the ocean. Onward to the west, bleak and desolate, through the spirit sea, unseen by mortals. On the far off borders where the lands come to the water's edge, the Lord of the land of Thouri was the Americas, right? Okay. On the far off borders where the lands come to the water's edge, the Lord of the land of Thouri stood, stationed in a ship to welcome God to the great west lands. Yeah, the west. Yeah, hold on. Guys, I need to put a whatchamacallit so I can flip back and forth so I remember it permanently. What did I say that was? Page 17? Yeah, page 17. Okay, I'll just put my little whatchamacallit in here so I can flip back to it quickly. Okay. On the far off borders where the lands come to the water's edge, the lord of the land of Thouri, or the Americas, stood, stationed in a ship to welcome God to the great west lands. And this was the land called by the angels in after times. I thought I saw this name somewhere else. North Guatama. Guatama. Okay. I saw that somewhere. Hold on. It was two names. They keep changing the name. Thouri and also North Guatama, America. Okay. Let me read it again. Okay. The master of the ship provided well for the journey, and presently the vessel of fire sped over the water high above the clouds that cover the ocean, onward to the west, bleak and desolate, through the spirit sea, unseen by mortals. On the far off borders, where the lands come to the water's edge, the lord of the land of Thouri stood, stationed in the ship to welcome God to the great west lands. And this was the land called by the angels in aftertime North Guatama, signifying the meeting of nations and the dawn of Kosmon. No, I didn't watch it yet, Tylane. I'll watch it. Robin, great morning, great morning. And this was the land called by the angels in aftertime North Guatama, signifying the meeting of nations and the dawn of Kosmon. God came down out of the ship and stood on the land, and a light of ethereal flame descended upon him. And Jehovah spoke out of the light, saying, Hear me, O my son, hither have I brought thee. This land is the last of the circle, even as Waga is the first. Behold, when the earth is circumscribed around about with such as choose me, I will come hither with a great awakening light to the souls of men. On this land will I finish the dominion of the gods and lords on earth, even as begun on Waga, and it has reference 7, even as begun, and at the footnote says, even as begun. It say the same thing. I don't know why they did that. Even as begun on Waga, even as begun. It's the same exact thing. Okay. On this land will I finish the dominion of the gods and lords on earth, even as begun on Waga. Through thee and thy lords will I now lay the foundation for my kingdoms. On this land will I raise up a people who shall be the fulfilling of that which the Ehenes of Waga profess. For my chosen shall come out boldly against all dominion save mine, even Jehovah. Look over this land, my son, and provide unto the time of Kosmon. I'm just going to highlight this because we as them people living here in America, right? Well, for the ones that's living here, I know I got people watching from different places from Europe. I got some watching from South America. They not be live, but they'll come back. Sometimes they'll pop in live. Yeah, baby. You gonna help get my hair cream? Okay. This one is yours. Thank you. You're welcome. Make sure that closes all the way. Okay. I read this again. On page 26 of the OAHSPE, chapter 11, verse 5. On this land will I finish the dominion of the gods and lords on earth, even as begun on Waga. Through thee and thy lords will I now lay the foundation for my kingdoms. On this land will I raise up a people who shall be the fulfilling of that which the Ehenes of Waga profess. For my chosen shall come out boldly against all dominion, save mine, or except from mine, even Jehovah. Look over this land, my son, and provide until the time of Kosmon. My prophets shall foretell thee what shall happen. Thou shalt look upon the mountains and strong standing rocks, and the thought of thy soul shall pierce them, and the impression thereof shall be written as a book before the races of men in that day. Neither shall they know the cause, but they shall come forth in tens of thousands, putting away all gods and lords and ancient tyranny for my sake. Thy soul shall be my talisman, deep engraved in the land and waters and mountains. On this land alone shall not any lord or god be established by the sword, for it is my land, which I plant for the deliverance of the nations of the earth. And keep my comments to myself just for a moment. Just for a moment. I'm just bringing all my research points together with this and some things that I thought about. What? Open it. All right. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Neither shall they know the cause, but they shall come forth in tens of thousands, putting away all gods and lords and ancient tyranny for my sake. Thy soul shall be my talisman, deep engraven in the land and water and mountains. On this land alone shall not any lord nor god be established by the sword, for it is my land. Talking about the Americas, for it is my land. For it is my land which I plant for the deliverance of the nations of the earth. And if that, let me just say this comment though. Let me just say this comment. Based on all the information that I've gathered while going through the Hebrew roots and the deliverance from Babylon, and all of these thoughts are like flooding my mind. If that's the case, like we still got everything on the table looking over everything. If that's the case, while people trying to get out of here, and you can't really just consider America Babylon. Babylon is like all over the world. Like you're not going to get away from Babylon. Babylon is everywhere. It's in America. It's in Europe. It's in Asia. It's all over. It's a system and it's everywhere, right? But when it said this particular portion right here, I had been thinking about something because of not being one-sided, looking at all the information that different people bring out about different places and where the promised land truly is. You know, all those different things I'm thinking about again, where some people say it's Africa, we need to flee to Africa. They say, no, it's here in America. Don't go anywhere. Y'all gonna be in trouble if you go to Africa. Don't do it. Then, so I started looking into America. I was like, oh, well, there are definitely some points to look into some of the historical things, and which led me to the ancient pyramids and stuff that I found over here, all these things. I'm like, you know what? There's good argument for both. Right. So at one point I'm like, yes, it's straight Africa. Then I'm like, wait a minute, it might be America. I'm like, you know what? There was a main trade route that they constantly traveled with through Africa and South America. Yeah, Africa and South America. I said, but some fled from here to there. I said it could be a combination of the two. I'm at the point where it's like I'm not quite sure again, but there is definitely good argument for both. So it seems surface level, right? I still think we're missing some information. That's why I stand at this point for the promised land and whether we should go or whether we should stay, right? Okay. I'll read this again. I keep going. We at 24 minutes. Okay. Neither shall they know the cause, but they shall come forth in tens of thousands, putting away all gods and lords and ancient tyranny for my sake. Thy soul shall be my talisman, deep engraven in the land and water and mountains. On this land alone shall not any lord or god be established by the sword, for it is my land, which I plant for the deliverance of the nations of the earth. Which deliverance of the nations of the earth, right? I know sometimes America can seem like the big bully on the block, although they're against bullies and talk about not being a bully, but America sometimes can be the biggest bully on the block. But people normally try to flee to America for refuge. Just think about it. When places, if they can make it here, they'll get here. They smuggle people in. Think about people trying to cross the border, so that makes sense that people from everywhere, not a lot of people really try to flee from America to go somewhere else, not unless they want it by the law. Most of the time, America seems to be like the safe haven for all nations. Okay, just a thought. The host of both the ships came and joined in gleesome reunion after 100 years' absence. And it came to pass that God traveled over the land and waters of the great west continent, and all the places that the Lord had searched out to the east and west and north and south, even the farthest boundary, were revealed and recorded in the books of heaven. God said, "And thou, my Lord, shall mark out the place of the dominion of Jehovah in the founding of his kingdom on earth. And a record of thy labors shall descend through the lords and gods that come after thee, even down to the time of the coming of light of Kosmon. And the people," and it has reference letter G for the people. Let me keep my spot. G says, all Algonquin tribes worship the Great Spirit Jehovah only. 1882 edition. Everybody know about the Algonquin. I keep messing it up. Algonquin tribes, right? Okay. And the people, and the Algonquin people who shall dwell here till that day shall never be worshippers of any Lord or God, such as people shall. Sorry, let me read it again. And the people, referring to the Algonquin tribes, and the people who shall dwell here till that day shall never be worshippers of any Lord or God, such as other people shall worship. Let my seal be put upon this land in the name of Jehovah, and to him I consecrate it forever. Make me feel kind of special living here in the West. Hold on. Okay. So after that time, God rested from his labors, and the Lord with him. And the Lord prepared a feast and reunion for all the angels in his dominions. And they thus assembled and sang and prayed and danced and conversed on things long past and things of the future, reassuring one another of their love and high esteem after the manner of mortals of this day. When the banquet was ended, God and his traveling host, in due ceremony and order, took their leave. Thus God departed. And when the ship of God was raised up and under way, the voice of Jehovah came to God, saying, "Steer thy ship, my son, around about over all the other lands and islands and waters of the earth. Go low down to the earth, that thy recording angels may witness the affairs of men and all the places I created on the earth and the waters of the earth." Thus God visited all the places on land and water, even where man lived not, as well as where he lived. And the angels made a record thereof in the books of heaven. And the time of the journey and the visits of and the time of the journey and the visits of God to the places of the earth and her heavens was 1 year and 7 days, and his rest was completed. So he sent messengers to Horeb, his heavenly kingdom, announcing the time of his coming, and he then set sail therefore. So remember, when he started this travel, he left somebody else on the throne. This one guy, I forgot his name, I had to go back and look. This one guy, he had taken, while he was going to travel or taking a leave of absence or going on hiatus or whatever, vacation, taking a crew with him, he set somebody else in his place, who then reigned as God and held the title God. While this God, this particular God, not the big God, not Jehovah, Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yah, not him, right? The Great Spirit, but presidents. So it's kind of like he was kind of like the vice president. He stood in the place while the president went away for a little bit. Okay, that guy. A few chapters back. Okay, chapter 12. Oh, yeah, 30 minutes. Maybe we should pause right here. We'll pause. We'll pause right here. Let's go ahead and open up the other book. Right at 30 minutes. Okay. Page number here. Okay. Boy, 30 minutes passed by so fast. Okay, meditation book, y'all. Remember, we're talking about, we got past yoga. We're talking about the general discipline of meditation. It's listening, reflection, and meditation. Okay, so on page 59, general discipline in all temples, especially the temple of Haru and Edfu, EDFU. Scripture, Pert M. Haru, and special scriptures, including the Berlin Papyrus and other papyri. Number 1, learn ethics and law of cause and effect, practice right action. Under that, it has in parentheses the 42 precepts of Ma'at and the 42 precepts of Ma'at to purify gross impurities of the personality. Getting tongue tied. Hold on. I want to read to y'all the 42 laws of Ma'at, because I thought it was coming up in here. Maybe they just mentioned it, but they don't have it. I got this little chart. Hold on. I'm going to read it to you. 1 second. It's not a menu for you. 42 laws of Ma'at. Okay. She said, "Why are you taking the menu off?" I said, "It's not a menu, Pootie." Francis, my sister, think about the land mass of Pan from Africa to the Americas. Yeah, right. Remember, because it's sunken at the present moment, right? But I think they said it sunk never to rise again, so we may never see that. But also, there is another. I'm not going to give the name of this particular manual. It's really thick, right? It's almost like the OAHSPE. I couldn't find a hardback version, but a few years back, probably about 3, I found it. I'm not going to give you the name quite yet. I've only seen literally, when I ran the search, I literally only seen two people. I'll search it again, talking about this particular manual. I'll hold the name because I'm still trying to vet it, but it is some good information in there. And what I found is it has some pieces to South America, like what was happening down there during this time, and the other portions that it has, it relates. And I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, we find that in other manuals, but I don't know. I really like to vet some of the resources, and because because nobody really been talking about it, that it's not good. But I don't know. I just want to really make sure before I say the name, right? So, but in that particular one, I found that they talk a lot about what was happening in South America and what is going to happen in the times to come and the things to recognize. I was like, oh, well, we've seen that. But I don't know quite yet. Like I said, I'm still vetting it. I had the thick PDF. It's over 500 pages. Like, we could read it. We read the Legends of the Jews. That was over 500 pages, right? I don't know. Still think about it. Okay. Anyway, back to the 42 laws of Ma'at. I thought it was in here, and we still might come to it. And if I can, well, when we come to it, if it's in here, I did a quick flip, but I didn't see it. I know it's in the other ones, but I have this little chart that has them up here. So when I looked into it, I'm like, huh. And all the 10 commandments are found in this, right? So remember, the law The 42 laws of Ma'at, it's like the laws of balance or the laws of righteousness and justice, right? So it's if you're not taught about it, if you just hear, you just think, oh, this you all for worship another God type laws and stuff. I decided to actually pull it up and look at them. Jen, good morning. Okay, so I'm gonna read through them. And they split it up. The first half, I forget what they call it. It's like when they say it, they do it in the morning and in the evening. But when they do it in the morning, they're approaching it like, I will not murder. And like, say if murder is one of them, say, I will not murder today, right? And so at the end of the day, when they go through and they repeat it, they just affirm that that day they watched their life, they were in complete balance and said, I have not murdered today. Yeah, thank you, Robin. They also call it the 42 confessions. Okay, let me read it. I have not committed sin. I have not committed robbery with violence. I have not stolen. I have not slain men or women. I have not stolen food. I have not swindled offerings. I have not stolen from God/goddess. I have not told lies. I have not carried away food. I have not cursed. I have not closed my ears to truth. I have not committed adultery. I have not made anyone cry. I have not felt sorrow without reason. That's one kind of keep you away from being led into depression unknowingly, because some people find themselves in depressed states and don't even know why. And a lot of times, this is a good note, just in case you guys ever find yourself there. If you find yourself in a place of depression and you sit there and think about it and don't really know why, you might want to check your surroundings, because that it's not coming from you. There's something being impressed upon you, and a lot of people don't know to check that, and they find themselves in downward spirals of depression and don't even know how they got there, right? Okay, that's number 14. I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have not assaulted anyone. I am not deceitful. I have not stolen anyone's land. I have not been an eavesdropper, or another word for eavesdropper is ill hustler. I have not been an eavesdropper. I have not falsely accused anyone. I have not been angry without reason. I have not seduced anyone's wife. I have not polluted myself. I have not terrorized anyone. I have not disobeyed the law. I have not been exclusively angry. I have not cursed God, goddess. I have not behaved with violence. I have not caused disruption of peace. I have not acted hastily or without thought. I have not overstepped my boundaries of concern. I have not exaggerated my words when speaking. I have not worked evil. I have not used evil thoughts, words, or deeds. I have not polluted the water. I have not spoken angrily or arrogantly. I have not cursed anyone in thought, word, or deeds. I have not placed myself on a pedestal. I have not stolen what belongs to God, goddess. I have not stolen from or disrespected the deceased. I have not taken food from a child. I have not acted with insolence. And the last 142, I have not destroyed property belonging to God, goddess. And at the bottom, it has the true world order. So when I started looking into this, I'm like, what happened when you make your kids cry? Well, without good reason, if you're not disciplining them, then I don't know. Like, y'all would deal with you. I believe, some people may get dealt with post haste. Other people, I don't know. But if you're just a terrible person, I don't know. Sometimes terrible people live a long time. I don't know. I don't control that particular order, so I'm not quite sure. I'm not in the habit of making kids cry on purpose. Now, if you begin to feel sorrow justly because you've done something and you didn't got caught by your parent or your guardian, then I think it's appropriate, because you done probably got your tail toe off, got spanked, put on punishment. restriction, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But on purpose, yeah, you'd be in trouble. But then I know. Kids cry all the time anyway. Y'all hear mine crying in the background. I'm here. Y'all know I ain't did nothing to them but told them no. I don't think it's talking about that, but we understand. We just playing around. Okay, let's go back. Okay. I start over. Scripture, Pert M. Huru, and special scriptures, including the Berlin Papyrus and other papyri. Number one, learn ethics and law of cause and effect, practice right action. Practicing right action means practice the 42 precepts of Ma'at, or the 42 laws of righteousness or justice, right? To purify gross impurities of the personality. And it also has under that control body, speech, and thoughts. Number two, practice cultivation of the higher virtues, selfless service, and that is to purify the mind and intellect from subtle impurities. Number three, devotion to the divine. See Ma'ashin or Ma'ashin actions as divine offerings to the divine. So if you're acting in accordance to the laws of Ma'at, you're actually your 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 lifestyle becomes an offering to Yah, right? Simply by the way you live. Let my life be my what's the word? Let's write down the tip of my tongue. It's like you make your life your sacrifice. My way of right living is the sacrifice that I make while I'm here, right? Okay, and that's considered being devoted to the divine or being devoted to Yah. And the fourth one, meditation. See one's self as one with Ma'at, i.e., united with the cosmic order, which is the transcendental supreme self, right? So see yourself as one with Yah, right? Or with the great spirit. Okay. Plate one, the offering of Ma'at, symbolizing the ultimate act of righteousness, Temple of Seti 1. And so it has this. See if I can show it to both. Let me see if it's showing to both of y'all. Oh, well, maybe not. I think it's still kind of low for YouTube. Okay, so Facebook first. This is the plate it was talking about. I believe that's Seti, and this would be Ma'at, right? Ma'at. They just kind of blew up this figure that was on his hand, right? So he's practicing, not that he's holding a tiny god in his hand. They're hieroglyphs. It shows that he's practicing the law of Ma'at, or the laws of righteousness, or makes his life uh, a living sacrifice, one with the divine, one with Yah. Okay. The offering of Ma'at, symbolizing the ultimate act of righteousness, right? So he's offering Ma'at, my life. I'm offering Ma'at. So to show in picture form that I'm offering Ma'at, picture of Ma'at, or the goddess Ma'at, which is actually the goddess, is the principles and character form of righteous living, my offering of Ma'at. This person lives righteously. Y'all get it, right? So if you saw a hieroglyph, it could be anybody. You could see me. You could draw a picture of me with my eye in my hand like I'm giving it to somebody. That's my offering, or holding it up, offering it to Yah. It's my sacrifice, my offering of righteous living. Okay. The next page, page 60. Discipline of devotion. Number one, and what I notice is doing, it's repeating like the three. It's repeating the three, but it's breaking it down a little bit more. Listening, reflecting, and meditating, right? Okay. Number one, listening to the myth. And under listening to the myth, it has getting to know the divinity, empathize, romanticize. Kind of like what y'all heard me say when we was reading through the Bible. Like, just get familiar with the story. Just read it over and over until you just understand the story. Don't try and be super spiritual, trying to get prophecies and stuff. Just learn about the story. Learn about who the people are. Learn about who their God is, who their enemies are, who their cousins are when they had the cookouts. Learn about the family feuds and fights, right? Y'all hear me say that all the time, right? Same thing. Because you got to get to know the story to be able, you got to really know the story to even be able to begin to comprehend the truths that were created within the story, right? The truths are hidden within the story that was created. But a lot of times we can't even get past the story portion of it, and we fight into the bloody death that the story characters were real. Number one, listening to the myth. Like I said, under listening to the myth, how you listen to the myth, get to know the divinity, empathize, romanticize. Number two, ritual about the myth. Under that is offerings to divinity, propitiation, act like divinity, chant the name of divinity, sing praises of the divinity, commune with the divinity. That's consider what you do under the ritual portion, right? We know how to do that. Singing praises to Yah, singing his name, communing with him on a daily basis, right? And then a third one, mysticism. And under that is melting of the heart, dissolve into divinity, identify with the divinity. I not saying that I am, right? I am Yah, Yah is me, or he lives in me. He's a part of me, right? And as I began to understand that and live according to principles of righteousness, I I began to take on that I began to look like divinity. I began to move like divinity. I began to sound like divinity. We're melding into one, or better words, I am melding into him. Right? Okay. Identify with the divinity. Oh, I know who daughter you are, right? People can see, oh, that's one of y'all's daughters, right? Or one of y'all's sons. Okay. Under it, in the Kosmon teaching of devotional love, God is termed Mary, or beloved one. Mary is Merri, beloved one. And this is the hieroglyph for that. Make sure it's not blurry. Right here. Okay, this is for Facebook. All right, YouTube. Oh, right there. Okay. Love and be loved. That person is beloved by the Lord. Per Monroe, chapter 4. Offering oneself to God, surrender to God, become one with God. All right, next page. It has figure 1. The dual pose, upraised arms with palms facing outward toward the divine image. And here's that picture. Right here. All right, YouTube. Yeah. All right, and that was all that was on that page. Okay. Next page, page 62. Now it's talking about the postures, the yogic postures in ancient Egypt. Since their introduction to the West, the exercise system of India, known as Hatha Yoga, has gained much popularity. The disciplines related to the yogic postures and movements were developed in India around the 10th century ACE by a sage named Gorashka. It has reference 10. And it's pulling it from the yoga journal, the New Yoga, January, February 2000. Okay. Up to this time, the main practice was simply to adopt the cross-leg meditation posture known as the lotus for the purpose of practicing meditation. The most popular manual on Hatha Yoga is the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Light on the Forceful Yoga. Let me read that again for you, just in case y'all interested. Hatha Yoga Pradipika, let me spell that for you. Pradipika, Dipika, and in parentheses, it has Light on the Forceful Yoga. It was authored by Savatamarama Yogin in mid 14th century ACE. Okay. Okay. This picture right here has the god Geb in the plow posture engraved on the ceiling of the antechamber to the Assyrian resurrection room of the temple of Thouri in Egypt. Photo taken by Ashby. Below is an illustration of the posture engraved on the ceiling. Okay. Okay, man. Love you too. Okay, so this is the picture Dr. Mwada Ashby took right here. And this is the symbol that's inside of here. Just kind of separated it so you can see it, right? YouTube, this is a picture Dr. Ashby took. And this is this picture right here is this right here. Just so you can see it clearer. Okay. Prior to the emergence of the discipline of the physical movements in India, just before 1000 ACE, then it has a reference 12, and reference 12 is the Shambhala Encyclopedia of Yoga by George Berenstein, PhD. Prior to the emergence of the discipline of the physical movements in India, just before 1000 ACE, a series of virtually identical postures to those which were practiced in India can be found in various ancient Egyptian papyruses and inscribed on the walls and ceilings of the temples. Siri, close. I guess the way I pronounce some words, she think I'm calling her. Okay. The ancient Egyptian practice can be dated from 10,000 BCE to 300 BCE and earlier. Examples of Thouri, 800 through 300 BCE, Temple of Haru, 800 to 300 BCE, Tomb of Queen Nefertiti, reigned 1279 through 1212 BCE, and various other temples and papyruses from the New Kingdom era, c. 1580 BCE. In ancient Egypt, the practice of the postures called Tif Sima Pau Netaru, which means movements to promote union with the gods and goddesses, or simply Sima Puat, union with the gods and goddesses, were part of the ritual aspect of the spiritual myth, which, when practiced, serve to harmonize the energies and promote the physical health of the body and direct the mind in a meditative capacity to discover and cultivate divine consciousness. These disciplines are a part of a larger process called Sima or Smai Tawi Egyptian yoga. By acting and moving like the gods and goddesses, one can essentially discover their character, energy, and divine agency within one's consciousness, and thereby also become one of their retinue, that is, one with the divine self. In modern times, most practitioners of Indian Hatha Yoga see it primarily as a means to attain physical health only. However, even the practice in India had an origin in myth and a mythic component, which is today largely ignored by modern practitioners. Okay. So I'm going to read this. It says above left, the Kamashan goddess Nut and god Geb and the higher planes of existence. Above center and right, the goddess Nut performs the forward bend posture. Okay. For Facebook. right here. And it's going to explain, as we get into it, it's going to explain the different positions and what it was doing. Okay. The figure above left depicts another conceptualization of the netherworld, which is at the same time the body of Newt in a forward bend yoga exercise posture. The innermost goddess symbolizes the lower heaven where the moon traverses the physical realm. The middle one symbolizes the course of the sun in its astral journey. This shows a differentiation between the physical heavens and the astral plane, as well as time and physical space and astral time and space, i.e., the concept of different dimensions and levels of consciousness. The outermost symbolizes the causal plane. That was this one right here that it just described. All right. Below, the Egyptian gods and goddesses act out the creation through their movements: forward bend, newt, spinal twist, geb, journey of Ra, Ra in his boat, and the squatting and standing motions of Nun and Shu. That's what's going on in this busy picture right here. It just described all of that. Okay. All right, so now you have on the next page figure 2 and figure 3, and I'm gonna show them both at the same time. Y'all gotta probably look kind of closer, screenshot it. Okay, figure 2, the varied postures found in the Kosmon papyruses and temple inscriptions, and figure 3, the practice of the postures is shown in the sequence below. Okay, so at the top, it has them numbered 1 through 26, right? So the top portion is the actual hieroglyphs that you will find. And down at the bottom, Dr. Ashby is actually doing these same positions, and you can see his picture. And they're all numbered, whether it's the top one or it's the bottom one. Okay. So this is for Facebook. Maybe I get a little close. I'm gonna show you half first so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so that is the hieroglyph. Screenshot if you can, if you ain't got the book, y'all. You know what? And I'll post it. I'll screenshot it, and I'll post it in the community section on Facebook. Okay, so those are the hieroglyphs. See that? All right. And so down here for Facebook, look at Dr. Ashby at the bottom, actually acting those out. For YouTube, you can see the hieroglyphs at the top. And I'm gonna move it up again. So you can see Dr. Ashby actually performing those same, can you see it? Those same positions. Y'all get it? They're acting out nature, stretching the body. One more time here. Okay. And now I'll read what they are. You have the Ua Kepri, which is time before creation. Number 2 is creation, Nefertem. 3 is creation, noon. 4 is a warm up. 5 is Shu, air, space. 6 is Uja Ra, journey of Ra. 7 is Geb, plow, earth. 8 is the wheel. 9 is the fish of Ra. 10 is the forward bend. 11 is the Geb, spinal twist. 12 is Selket, the scorpion. 13 is Sobek, the crocodile. 14 is Asar, the cobra. 15 is Hormaket, the Sphinx. 16 is Heru, master of nature. 17 is Hindu, adorations. 18 is Nut, expansion, infinity. 19 is Ma'at, order, balance. 20 is Aset, wisdom, intuition. 21 is Aset, divine throne. 22 is divine embrace. 23 is Jed, divine pillar. 24 is headstand. 25 is the Kepri, new creation. 26 is Asar, the mummy. Yeah, so he actually goes through and do all of those different positions. Okay. All right. Next page. It's another chart. Okay. Well, it's a timeline, rather. Where we at? Oh, we at an hour. Let me read the timeline and then we'll pause. Okay. Let me show you what it looked like. I'll take a picture of this and post this too so you can see it. Okay. Facebook. Okay. There you go. And YouTube. That's what it looked like. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna read the time markers, and then I read what's on that line for that particular time on the timeline. Okay. This is 20th century ACE, and it has at the top in the very first block beside the 20th century ACE, 11 numbers. The first one is Anada Yoga. I'm gonna screw some of these names up. I'm just already tell you because it's look like Indian names. Okay. Ananda Yoga, Swami Kriyananda. Number 2 is Anusara Yoga, John Friend. Number 3 is Ashtanga Yoga, K. Patabi. Number 4 is Ashtanga Yoga, Patabi Joyce. Number 5 is Bikram Yoga, Bikram Chowdhury. Number 6, Integral Yoga, Swami Sachi Dhanada B. Number 7, Iyengar Yoga, BKS Iyengar. Okay, so these different ones must be named after these particular people. Okay. Kripalu Yoga, Amrit Desi. Number 9, Kundalini Yoga, Yogi Bhajan. Number 10, Sivananda Yoga, Swami Vishnu Divananda. And 11, Sravarupa Yoga, Rama Birch. And it has under 11, women first admitted to Hatha yoga practice. All right, so in 1893 ACE, you have the World Parliament of Religions, Vedanta introduced to the West. Then in 1750 ACE, Shiva Samhita, Hatha yoga text melds Vedanta with Hatha. So they put them two together. In 1539 ACE, the birth of Sikhism, Sikhism. In 1350 ACE, Hatha Yoga, Pradipika text, India. 1000 ACE, Gorashka Siddha Yogis, first Indian Hatha Yoga practice. 600 ACE, the birth of Islam. Year 0, birth of Jesus, Christianity. 300 BCE, Iraq, Geb, Nut, Egyptian postures yoga, late period. 1680 BCE, Geb, Nut, Ra, Asar, Aset, Sobek, Egyptian yoga postures, New Kingdom. 2000 BCE, Indus Valley, Kundalini, serpent power, lotus pose. 3600 BCE, Nefertem, Egyptian yoga posture, Old Middle Kingdom period. And 10,000 BCE, serpent power, Hormaket, Egyptian yoga posture, ancient Egyptian. Okay, so it starts at what we read first is the most recent of the yoga practices, and it goes back to show you how old this was and where it actually descended from, right? So with the oldest being practiced in ancient Egypt in 10,000 BCE. Okay. And that's the end of that chart. And that is the end of this reading for today and our reading for today. Period. All right, y'all. So tomorrow we get into tantrism, the Sima Tawi of tantrism. That's going to be good. All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the reading for today. It is Friday, August the 20th. I say August. April the 22nd, 2022, day 89 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1107. We read in the OAHSPE, pages 25 through 27, and we just finished reading a little bit more in the meditation book, pages 59 through 66. All right, beautiful people, we will not be here tomorrow because we are observing the Sabbath. And get some good rest, right? I was about to say I'm probably going to be early tonight, but I'm probably not. Matter of fact, I know I'm not, because we're going to be up packing and stuff. So, but yeah, that being said, beautiful people, thank y'all for hanging out today. May y'all bless you in all that you do and keep you safe until we meet again this Sunday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love y'all. Read ahead if you want. Oh, I think there's an online version of the OAHSPE. I'm gonna share it. I saw a portion of it. I think the whole OAHSPE is online. Let me look. I'm almost certain. Like I said, I saw like a little portion and a link. I was like, wait a minute, is this whole book online? I'm like, this could be great for those who can't actually get a copy of it. There is for free. Okay, if you got the link, Robin, post it, please. And I'm gonna reshare it in like the community section on Facebook for those of you that can't get a copy of it right now. If you can see me, you can see it online. All right, y'all, if you got a good connection. All right, thanks, Robin. I appreciate that. All right, y'all, with that being said, I love y'all, and I will see y'all back here Sunday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. I'm going on the trip. No, we're moving. I hate move. I love moving, but I hate moving. I told my husband, I was like, why don't we just call 2 men in a truck? I said, I know we kind of move for commercial companies, but we don't really like moving ourselves for real. Like, why don't we just pay the guys to come? He was like, no. I'm like, well, let's just call 2 men in the truck. We can do it. I'm like, ugh. Yeah. So, but yeah. But we're gonna kind of be in limbo for a few weeks until we finish like completely closing on a home. So yeah, but we have to turn in the keys here on May the 1st. So yeah, we was hoping the process was gonna go a little bit faster. Look, and then was it last week, maybe a week before last, when I was having that whole I wouldn't say like a whole little breakdown, but I was like, oh my gosh, everything is like turning upside down. I was like, what is wrong? We got to be out of here in like 2 weeks. Like, we're on the countdown. We got like 9 days. I'm like, and they say this, and that done popped up and we can't move forward. Where we gonna go? Right? Like, I'm freaking out like we can't go somewhere, but it's just like it wasn't moving as smoothly as we thought it was going to go. So we had to make some adjustments, right? So we'll be broadcasting live from our hotel room for a week or so. Probably longer than this. Definitely gonna be longer than a week, hopefully, because we're going to see yeah, y'all see when the background change, y'all know we'd handed over the keys and we're like we're in that limbo. Not necessarily limbo, we kind of like in we're in the train station, waiting to board the next train, right? So, but everything is good. Everything is good, yeah. So, but we're gonna be all over because we can't be in a hotel all day with them kids. So we're gonna be going everywhere. Make sure the zoo membership, all that stuff is renewed. Because they be too loud to be in there all day, And with me homeschooling, we're just gonna use it to sleep and just get out there, go to the office. Don't really want them in the office all day because they do the most, eating up all the snacks and stuff. Stop writing or quit pulling the paper out of the printer. Stop writing on the board. Be quiet. Got a call coming through. We got trucks coming in. They all want to run back there. They want to play on the dollies and stuff, like they skateboarding on the ocean. I'm like, this is too much. This is too much. I'm about to hire a nanny. All right, y'all. Enough. Yeah, they do. They love the hotel. Like they're super excited about this. They're like, we get to go to the pool like every day. So, but yeah, they're super excited about it. I'm just like, Father, prepare us now. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Soak up some of this sun if it's nice and warm where you at, right? And I'll see y'all back here on Sunday. Love y'all. Peace.